Hey, party people, and welcome to the inaugural episode of But Are You Weird? A podcast dedicated to spending time with some interesting people, getting to know them a bit, and ultimately asking, But are you weird? And today's the first episode, and I'm so excited. We have the perfect guest for the first episode of But Are You Weird? And it is my dear friend, Audra Harris. Yay!
That's me.
That's you. You're here. And so I know a little bit about you, Audra. I want to actually turn it over to you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you. And also thanks for having me on here as your first guest. I am super excited and I am just really excited to see where this podcast goes. So what an honor. So my name is Audra. I am a pelvic floor occupational therapist. I own my own business, Autonomy Pelvic Health.
Yes.
Yes, a business owner, right? OT, pelvic floor therapist, business owner. It's still almost weird for me to say business owner because I'm like, oh, I'm so used to the title as just an OT, but I'm like, I can wear many hats, right? I'm located in Leominster, Massachusetts. I obviously love what I do as a pelvic floor therapist. I really feel like I have found my calling in OT, and I just love being a business owner because I get to meet people where they're at, and I just get to learn how to really be my true authentic self, which, we're going to learn more about later. But I'm also a fellow avid, I like to consider myself an athlete. I love strength training. I love running. I do walking and hiking and all the fun things. I am married to my absolute best friend on the planet. He is amazing. Shout out to my husband, Diego. And then I have my two kitty babies. So I am a cat mom. Their names are Athena and Apollo, and they are my absolute world. I love cats. So please, if you ever see me, do not hesitate to ask, do you want to see my pets? Because the answer is always going to be yes. Please show me pictures of your pets.
Yeah, I get excited still when cats show up on Zoom screens. The most professional conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but what's your cat's name?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I'll have clients who are like, oh, so they'll start talking about their pets. And in my head, I'm thinking I really hope they show me a picture of their pet. Or they'll be like, oh, do you want to see what they look like? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Show me your baby.
I've been waiting for you to ask, actually.
Exactly.
So I want to give you a little bit of a platform to not go too deep. Actually, go as deep as you want. Your life, your choices. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what pelvic floor OT is?
Pelvic floor OT is being able to look at the pelvic floor and helping people who are dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction. So that can look like issues with bladder and bowel control. So think of people who are leaking pee with exercising, coughing, sneezing, laughing, or they get an urge to pee and they're trying to get to the bathroom, but they can't hold it in. Or people who are dealing with issues of constipation or even fecal incontinence or leakage, sexual dysfunction. So those people who are maybe having pain with sex or intimacy, maybe those people who are trying to just seek pleasure, but they're like, I know I'm supposed to have pleasure with this, but it just doesn't feel good, or I don't know how to actually feel pleasure with this activity. Or for people who are I am trying to have a baby, but I just can't even tolerate any penetration to be able to have a baby, right? So we work on different types of dysfunctions across, the pelvic floor health. And when I am looking at pelvic floor, I'm not just looking at the pelvic floor muscles, but my approach is really looking at the whole body. And that's really what OT is all about, right? So what's really cool is, sure, I can assess your pelvic floor muscles and what they're doing, but my practice and treatment approach also looks into your emotional health, your mental health. What are your values? What do you believe in? And just really getting to know you as a person, because those things do matter. And, pelvic floor, when people hear about it, most people assume it's just Kegels, or some people will be like, oh, pregnant, postpartum, which sure, pregnant, postpartum, people I work with all the time. But there's so much deeper. It's so much deeper than that. And so I just love being able to bring that kind of approach. And so I love also talking about pelvic health because the more we talk about it, the less taboo it becomes in our society, the more people realize that they can get help for these, uncomfortable topics, and just being able to normalize the conversation. So I really love what I do, and it's really great to make this kind of impact. And I get to work with all different types of people. So I work with strictly adults. Pediatrics is its own kind of beast to work with, which maybe someday, but there are pelvic floor therapists who do specialize in peds, which is awesome. But I treat adults of all genders. And so, not just treating people who are just labeled as man or woman, but treating people who maybe identify as a different gender. And I am trying to get my feet more wet in gender affirming care because that is
great.
Really important and more up and coming, especially in the world of pelvic floor health. So I love what I do. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, you have taught me so much about pelvic floor in general, because I do think most people sort of resign it to this one little box that it fits, but it really covers so much. And you saying like thinking about the entire person, really, when I, of course, as my roots in trauma, I think about creating a safe space, and you totally need to feel seen, heard, valued, respected, and appreciated for the entirety of the person that you are before you can engage in therapy that's addressing the pelvic floor. You also mentioned taboo, which was something I was going to ask you about. And so, yeah, it's like a taboo thing to like not discuss it is really to sort of, I don't know, pretend that a whole part of our being doesn't exist. And one of the things that I love that you do, which I think some people may call weird and, a little bit different, is I've had you come speak to the class here at Springfield. And you do a really fun activity with the students. Can you tell our listeners what you do with the students?
I honestly had a feeling this was going to come up, which is why I'm laughing. But the activity that I have the students do is I have a PowerPoint visual up on the board that I'll play along as I'm talking about pelvic floor stuff. So when I come and speak to Amanda's class, we're talking about the connection with pelvic health and mental health. And so what I do is after I introduce myself and talk about, what is pelvic floor health and OT's role in it and, those things, I have this slide that pops up and it's all of these different words that are capitalized. And the goal is for these students, after I yell out the word, they have to yell it back to me. And the words consist of things like pee, poop, sex, penis, vagina, orgasm. I'm pretty sure it's actually in that order, which is funny. So it's funny because first when I put up the slide, like you just see those words in bold and I can see like an immediate reaction to students where some of them are like shocked. Some of them don't seem super fazed. Some of them are kind of like, what is this lady about to do? Like, what the hell's going on? And then I say, so here's the goal. I'm going to say these words out loud. And then when I say it, you have to say it. And I'm like, and you need to say it loud and proud. So I'll be like, okay, ready? So I say pee and then they go pee. And then usually, we do it again because sometimes it's not always loud enough that people do, or they're not saying loud and proud. And then sometimes just for, as I say, shits and giggles, they might say it loud, but we have them do it again to just reinforce the idea of say it loud and proud. And it is kind of funny because we do it, sometimes with the doors open and people are walking by and they're like, what is this class going on in here?
Yeah.
And now you're probably wondering like, Audra, why do you do that? And it's to help with breaking up that like stigma and that discomfort people have with just saying those basic words. Like you would be surprised how many people don't like to say the words poop or sex or orgasm. Like they feel really weird about it. And I think it's because in our society, we've made it where those words are taboo, like we don't say and talk about it. But those are basic words that most people understand. Most people know what it is to poop versus like feces or fecal matter. Most people, right, are familiar with what a penis is versus, like that thing down there, blah, 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 blah. So it's important to be able to understand that we need to just use basic language with our clients because we may come across people who don't understand those fancy terms. Also, if you're dancing around those terms and not using like first person friendly language, that person may get a sense that you're not comfortable talking about it and you don't feel comfortable about it. So if you as the clinician or whoever you are, if you speak loudly and proudly about these things, and you can show that, hey, this is a safe place to talk about this stuff, the person in front of you or the people in front of you are going to say, wow, they're talking about this stuff like it's no big deal. Like maybe it's not a big deal to bring this stuff up. Like maybe I should talk about it more. So it's a fun and yes, silly activity, but I do really think it brings a lot of power. And I think it also just helps to break the ice, and it gets the students to see, oh, like, I want to make this fun and silly, but also let's take pelvic floor topics more seriously.
Yeah. My intellectual side of my brain is like going wild right now, thinking about it and the parallels between really saying those words and, of course, like the mental health stigma and saying the words that are difficult to say when we think about mental health, or talking about those difficult conversations that maybe we're like, I don't know if I should use that word. It's like, okay, but that's the actual best word to use because it honors the experience. And then, of course, being on the But Are You Weird podcast has me thinking about weirdness and owning it and claiming it and not being shy about it and not feeling like there are parts of yourself that you have to hide because other people aren't okay with it. And so really thinking about, being loud and proud with whatever you're doing and being confident in how you deliver that. You've done a great job teaching the students how to do that. It's one of my favorite parts of when you lecture. I usually go around and try to figure out like how many floors could hear us yelling penis in the building. So that's always a good time. It's been really nice to hear about the OT, of course, side of things. And I could talk OT all day. You know, it's what fires my brain up. But I want to know more about you. As I was preparing, I was thinking like, okay, what am I going to say about Audra? Should I write it down? Should I like prepare some points? And I thought, no, we're just going to wing it. So you were invited to be the inaugural guest because you are, as I said earlier, you're the perfect person for this. I like think about the relationship we have now as friends. You were a former student of mine, and just like how we connect really effortlessly. I think that could be because we're neurodivergent cousins for certain. But I think about like, what was it? When did I know that Audra was special? Like, when did I like pick up on her vibes? And I think it was immediately. I think back to being your professor back in the old days when you were getting your master's degree. And I remember seeing you and being like, that curly-headed girl, I like her. Like there's something about a curly hair. There's just an automatic, sorry if I'm making judgments, but like a implied personality that goes with curly hair. And your curly hair is just so beautiful. And I was like, this person, I think I'm going to love her. You talked to me about running like pretty quickly. And so we connected on something that was really meaningful. I came to discover beyond like those first minutes of meeting you that you're incredibly smart. And one thing that I really love about you, oh my gosh, now my brain's going fast thinking about how you also love Taco Bell.
Yes.
That's the thing that I love about you. I may or may not have a chicken soft taco in my bag right now that I'm going to eat after this. But your perspective, it's really, I think it might be your confidence now that I'm thinking about it. Like when I see you, you are, I mean, I'm like a faux curly-headed person. I'm going back to this curl thing because it's a big thing for me. I think it takes a lot to own curly hair, and you have to like be confident in who you are because we're in a straight girl hair society. Mm-hmm. And so to be out there and to be visible and to be seen, and then for you to share the perspectives that you share, and like you told me, gosh, I don't know what year it was, like 2018, 2019, that you were interested in women's health as OT. And I remember thinking, wow, that's so great for her. Like, I hope she makes that happen. And then within, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, you were well, not even, it was sooner than that, you were practicing, but then you opened your own practice. Like you're doing it, Audra. And you've got 2 kitty cats. You've got Go Diego Go as a husband. Like we're going to give away the spoiler alert here, but you're a weirdo.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're fantastic. You're perfect to be here. And then I started to think, I wonder what Audra thinks of herself. And so what do you think people think about you at first glance?
That's a really great question. First, I just want to say, like, you have me like a bit teary-eyed over here because like your words are just so kind and so thoughtful. And I just really appreciate hearing all this stuff because honestly, I don't always feel like I am the most confident person. Like, I don't feel like I come off confident all the time. So to hear you say that is so sweet and also just so like, it just lifts me up so much. And I just love like all of these like positive things you've mentioned about me. And I really love it, especially because I truly love being a different person. I don't know if it's like my Aquarius energy, because I am January Aquarius, if people follow that stuff. I don't follow it completely, but I'm like, I do think I vibe with it a lot. But it's like, everything you just said means so much to me. So thank you so much for that.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome.
I think when people first meet me, because it kind of depends on the situation, but I do think, first off, the first thing people always notice about me is my hair. Like, without a doubt, it's kind of hard because especially when it's down, it's curly, like it's just there. Like, it's just there. And I have like this really coily, curly hair, which it's not really that common to see with people, especially because I have like very pale skin, blue eyes and all this stuff. So people be like, oh, wow, like that's unique. And I do think people, when they first meet me, will think I'm like a unique individual. I do think there's some people who are like, whoa, this girl's like kind of loud. And yeah, she is a little bit weird and different. But then I've noticed, like, I've met people who we vibe right away. And they just are like, wow, you are fun, or you are passionate. Or you're just different, you're just unique. And I love that. So I do think that's definitely people's first impression. Now, if you catch me at the gym and I'm in the middle of a workout, you might think I might be a bitch because I have like resting bitch face. And it's like, I'm in the zone, I'm in the workout and I'm moving and grooving. But then literally as soon as you talk to me, like the smile comes on. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you, Audra? And they're probably like, oh, here's this like woman who's got like the tattoos, who's lifting heavy. Oh, wow. Okay. She's not that as intimidating as, maybe she looks.
It's a shame right now that we're audio only because I'm thinking, one, people can't see your curly hair. So expect yourself to be Googled.
Yes.
And then two, I also, thinking about your RBF from the gym, I know you also have some fantastic lifting faces.
Oh, yeah. It is never pretty, but honestly, like,
they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous.
the little like micro chins from like my chin and neck sometimes. Oh yeah. Like, people, listen, if your face doesn't look that way when you're trying to lift heavy, you probably need to lift heavier. Like, let's be real.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so we've got an impression of like first glance. And so when people get to know you, what do you think they come to understand as they build that relationship with you?
I think people really see how deeply passionate I am about different things and how much I really care about, people and my passions and just, the things that I want to like offer in this world. Like, it's really cool to hear from, friends, family, but even like some of my clients, when they get to know me, they say, yeah, you're very passionate. You're very knowledgeable. You're great, like, listener, like you truly deeply care. And that, like, I'm not afraid to like meet people on a deeper level. And that's one of the things I value a lot is like deep connection. Like, we need to get past like, what's your favorite color? And like, I'm just that person that's like, no, like, tell me the real deal. Like,
yes.
Tell me about everything. And so people, when they get to know me, I do feel that people feel safe enough to talk about it. But then I think people also can see that, like, yeah, I'm a true, like, I can be an emotional person. I am a person that, you have times, I think I could probably be a little bit stubborn with things, but I do hear from a lot of people that like, wow, you really care. Like, you have a lot of heart and a lot of things to give. It is really cool is talking to some other people to say that they really appreciate the insight into also just how my brain works. Like, I don't try to think about the way somebody explained it to me, but like I'll give you an example. My husband actually had said that one of the things that really sparked his interest is that when he first talked to me, he was like, just the way you talk is just really magnificent, like magical. Like you have a way with words and you also just speak from your heart. I really didn't see where he was coming from first initially, but then talking to other people, they're like, you really do have a way of just connecting with people. And so it's really cool after getting to know people and hearing that feedback. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'm not an imposter. Like, I'm not someone that people like secretly don't like and stuff like that, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You just saying the word imposter like made my stomach flip. That is such a real experience. And gosh, I could totally get sidetracked and distracted thinking about that. But I want to stick on what Diego said about the way that you talk. I'm such a visual person, so I'm going to try to describe audio in a visual way. But I almost feel like when you speak, it's like, I don't, oh gosh, this is my brain and the way that I think is about to start to show. But it feels like you, and too bad there's no video because you could see what my hands are doing. But I'm imagining you like you lift the words up and you like place them on a table for people. So they're like easily accessible. There's something about the way that your voice sounds and like the variation of tone and inflection. And I hope it comes across in the recording here. But you just, for some reason, it's just so accessible. Like maybe it's because you enunciate well. I don't know. Maybe there's a speech therapist who's listening who can help us out. But there is something about the way that you speak that is very comforting and it's very clear. And I totally can see what Diego's saying. And I never thought about it. But yeah, you do that very well. You speak very well.
Thank you.
Just another thing that's great about you. You also mentioned like really connecting with people on a deep level as something that people sort of get to know as they meet you. And I think that's another reason why you're wonderful. Thinking about it, we definitely have our very interesting memes, let's say, that we send one another. Anything cat related, I'm probably sending it to Audra. Anything Taco Bell related, I'm sending it to Audra.
The mental health memes too.
Yes, but like those like you know, the ones that I mean, there's certain mental health memes you can send to certain people. Like the ones I send to you, I'm not going to send them to my therapist,
no.
Right? 'Cause they may get a little bit worried.
Yeah,
but you have an ability to really see people. And in addition to seeing people, like appreciating whatever you're seeing without judgment. And so I feel really comfortable and safe with you saying when I'm not feeling well or sending that really sort of like niche trauma meme because you're going to see it, you're going to get it, you're going to connect with me in a way that will make me feel seen, valued, and heard. And I think, yeah, maybe superficially people sort of see you as one thing, but you are someone who really connects really well with others and has that appreciation for, like the depth, the meaning, the purpose of what people bring to life. And you really want to, I don't know, get in touch with that and, cut through, I'm going to swear here, but cut through the and really connect with people in a meaningful way, which isn't, in my experience, is not really what happens all the time. Like you go through life and you meet people, but like, where are the deep connections?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I am somebody that I realized that I don't really like. Here's the thing. I used to think that I really liked, I guess the word's kind of fluffy. Not that I don't like gentle approaches and, like I guess they can kind of call like a strength-based approach. So that's not kind of what I'm saying here. But I kind of like when people just like, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Like, tell me stuff. Tell me your struggles. Tell me what's bothering you. Tell me, like, I'll be straight up. I'm like, tell me about your trauma. I don't put it that way, but I'm literally like, tell me that stuff. Cause that tells me more about you than being like, yeah, so hi, I'm so-and-so. And I like this color and this food. Like, yeah, I like that stuff. But like, tell me like who you are as a person. Like, I'm just not afraid to also speak about like my experiences when I go through, people say like, oh, someone probably shares too much. I'm like, I don't really think that that's necessarily a thing. Maybe some stuff to agree. We don't have to share every single thing, but I don't like the idea of holding back, which is maybe what makes me kind of weird and different because I'll, if someone wants to be like, hey, Audra, like, have you ever been to like pelvic floor therapy yourself? I'll go, yep. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I went, because I think it's important to share our experiences and not hold things back. And of course, there's a time and a place where we share certain information and we don't. But when you're a clinician, you get the sense of like, what information do you disclose? What do you not? Things like that. But let's not make things boring. I don't like boring, you know?
Right. The authenticity, that like trueness. Yeah. And it really touches back on even that like taboo thing that we talked about earlier. It's like, there's so many things that just feel like we're not supposed to do. And it's like, but why not? It's the reality. Like, I really want to get to know you. I mean, the weather's kind of cool. But like, where's that going to go? Like, how does that advance us? Where does that take us, in terms of our purpose in life, not to get all deep and philosophical?
Right. And let me give you an example. This is going to sound kind of weird. Can you guess what I am wearing to work today, to work in my clinic? Can you guess what my attire is?
Oh boy, a banana suit.
Maybe one day. You're close, but
oh my God, I'm close. A hot dog suit.
So I guess let me put you this way. I guess I'm not wearing that kind of outfit, but what I'm wearing right now is a black t-shirt and black shorts, and that's it. And I'm literally wearing this in my own clinic. And here's the reason why I share this. You want to know why? Because even though I know you're a professor, I think you do get this from a standpoint. One of the things that I hate is like, they always talk about professionalism as like, you have to speak a certain way, you have to dress a certain way and do this and do that. And I'm like, I kind of hate that. I'm sorry. Like, I had to work that outpatient job where I wore the stupid polo shirt and the stupid tan khakis. Oh my God. Like, that is one of the worst things you could put me in, is a polo and khakis. Like, one, I look gross in it. And two, it feels gross to wear. I'm like, I just don't feel like me. And so that's the cool thing about being a business owner, is you get to wear what you want. And I'm like, it's hot outside. I'm a moving person. I have to show people movement and exercise. I'm going to dress comfortable. So no, I'm not going to be that therapist. It's like, let's wear dress pants and khakis and all that stuff. Like, that gives me the ick,
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to think that we're like, I don't know what the phrase would be, shifting the needle, pushing the needle in terms of what is professionalism, and it goes along with the weirdness in some degree of like, what is acceptable may not always be what's best, or what is socially acceptable or expected. That's probably the better word, may not be what's best. And so as a professor, yeah, I do feel the pressure similar to you to like, I'm supposed to be dressed a certain way, but then I just think, but that's actually not going to work for me. And that's not true to who I am. And I love that you said, like, that's one of the perks of creating your own business, is being able to sort of wear what you want to wear. And it also, I think, so from like that weirdness side of things, I guess you could say, but also it allows you to practice in a way that you want to practice. And I'm confident, I would imagine, that you've also built your life in a way that allows you to be who you want to be. So who cares what other people think?
Exactly. And that's the funny thing, is that something that I've been really trying to work on is not care so much about what other people think of me and what I'm doing, because I realize how much that holds me back. And that is something that I have struggled with for a while. I struggled with like being this person and being open and honest. As somebody where, give you an example, like I have ADHD, and it's one of those things where sometimes it's hard to talk about other people, because you have people that don't take it seriously. They're like, oh, everyone's got a bit of ADHD, just like how everyone's like, oh, now the thing I'm hearing people is that everyone says is everyone's got a bit of like the autism. And I'm like, okay, I can see that there's like the joking aside with it, but then there's some people who truly believe like, oh, well, everybody's just got quirks and things. It's like, yeah, we all have quirks, but there's a difference between having little quirks and then having something that actually is impacting how your brain is operating, which impacts how you do your day-to-day activities, which is things we see in autism and in ADHD. And yeah, there's a spectrum across them, but let's not belittle people who are facing challenges day to day with these types of conditions. Talking to some people, like some people get it. And then sometimes it's like, you say to people like, yeah, I have ADHD and it's hard for me to do stuff like this. And they go, yeah, like everyone's got that. I'm like, no, not to like the degree that I've dealt with. Right. And again, just like how pelvic health, there's deeper levels than just Kegels and, the pelvic floor. There's deeper levels to understanding things like ADHD. And I think that for the longest time, I didn't get diagnosed till I was 23, by the way, and I'm 30 now. So thinking back to childhood and just like how I was kind of different and weird and quirky and had all these kind of certain challenges, but things that didn't pop up as much because I wasn't like a failing student or like super hyperactive, right? I didn't demonstrate all of the typical symptoms that people see. But it wasn't until I went to grad school, actually, like, going to, classes that learning about development and mental health, that this came up. And I was like, oh my God, like, I really, truly think I have ADHD. So I paid and got the testing done, and it brought a lot of clarity. But I think for the longest time, because of those things, and then talking to a close person of mine who I disclosed I had the diagnosis, and they were like, kind of mad. They're like, that's just an excuse for behavior. Moments like that shut me down and pulled me in. Or the people that be like, Audra, you're too loud, or why are you being so upfront and honest about this? Like people would say mean things at times. And then I kind of hid in a shell for a while. So now here I am in my 30s where I'm like, let's not care so much about what people think. Like, you are you and you can't change that. Like, embrace it.
Yeah, there's so much of what you just said that, of course, like really hits home for me. But yeah, feeling comfortable with who you are. And goodness, I think about like, is 23 considered late diagnosis?
Good question.
I feel like it is. I mean, for something that's a neurodevelopmental thing like ADHD, probably. But yeah, that like process of, reflecting back and thinking about all the messages that you were told for essentially 23 years of your life about how you're not doing this right and you're not doing that right. And then to spend a good chunk, in the afterward sort of reclaiming the narrative and reframing it in your mind to go like, no, there's nothing wrong with me, but it's the systems that are not set up to allow me to engage in a way that actually suits me best. I think about, of course, the analogy of like, if someone's in a wheelchair, you don't expect them to take the stairs, right? And so if you have ADHD, like we can't expect people to be able to XYZ because it's literally their diagnosis. Like they're not choosing to not do these things. It's a part of who they are and how they're neurologically hardwired.
Yep.
I think people mean well too when they say like, oh, everyone's got a little bit of this and that. But yeah, it is really dismissive is what I would say. Mm-hmm. Because, gosh, I'm going to go on a mental health tirade. Soapbox. But the idea of like, you can have a state of being, right? Where like, yeah, you're anxious for, an exam. That's very different than generalized anxiety disorder, right? And so, yeah, people may experience different pieces of anxiety or hyperactivity or inattentiveness, but that doesn't mean that they have ADHD. Like sometimes you could just be impulsive for a moment. That doesn't mean that it's ADHD. And so you really can't put the two as equals. You can't really say that people are a little bit of this or a little bit of that. It is, again, intentionally, I think people mean well, but it's really offensive. So if you're doing it, could you cut it out?
Yeah, here I am like brushing my, if you see people and they like brush their hair back behind their ears and they kind of lean into the mic and they're like, so could you stop doing that? Like that's like me right now. I'm like pulling the hair back. Like, so if you're listening to this, friendly reminder, stop doing that.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Oh gosh, now I feel like we could have a whole episode on just what it's like to be late diagnosed.
Yes, I'll come back for that one.
The time has come for me to ask you the big question. We've gotten to know you a bit. You've shared a little bit about yourself. We probably have some inklings, and I actually already know the answer to this. But are you weird?
Oh, yeah. I am 110% weird.
What's the weirdest either thing about you or the weirdest thing that you do? When I say like, Audra, are you weird? Like what are you like, oh, she asked me about this? Like, what are you like, oh God, that?
Oh, would this be openly weird or like more like, here's what I do at home that's weird that I don't show in front of people, or both?
I want to know, I want your freak flag to fly. You tell me.
Literally one weird thing about me is I always have conversations with myself all the time. I always have conversations about possible situations, things that may never happen. And I'm like talking or thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I also make a lot of like just weird noises for things throughout the day. Like I'll be like, blah, 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 or, just saying things kind of weird. I have like kind of weird, I guess, food aversions. That's a huge thing about me. So when people even bring up something simple as like cottage cheese, I'm like, do not, that is exiting the door. Like, do not, no. Like, and I will literally have my facial expressions. Like, I'm a very expressive person. So if the camera was on, you guys would see all the hands and facial expressions moving. I just like being weird, like being silly, it's so hard to describe it. I feel like I just have to show people someday, like the weird things that I do. Oh, you want to know something that'd be fun to watch? Watch me clean the house one day, because you'll literally see where I started and then where I ended. Because I start one project, cue the ADHD, and you can see almost this path of things I've created and started. And people are like, where the hell is this organization? I'm like, it's there. It's just not how you would be organized.
It's like Hansel and Gretel, but your crumbs are like executive dysfunction.
Oh, yes.
It's like, oh, she's been here because this is half done.
Exactly. I also think what makes me like weird is that like I just love being able to like ask people weird questions, and I love like weird videos and memes on like YouTube. Like some of the stupidest things make me laugh tremendously hard. Like it could literally be something that people like, Audra, like this is dumb, it's not funny. And I am like cowering over, laugh like my stomach hurts.
A big belly laugh over a shrimp.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen the shrimp playing the quartet?
Nope, I have not seen that one. I'm
going to text you that video after this, and you'll see like some of the dumb things I laugh about.
So I said that was the last question, but actually I have one more question. And it's, do you have anything else that you want to share with me, with our, massive tribe of listeners? Any parting wisdom, parting thoughts?
Yes. I really hope that this encourages people to just be yourself. Like nobody's perfect. Let's be real with that, but like, just be yourself. Like people do love the weird, quirky stuff. And honestly, if people don't vibe with you and vibe with that circle, then they are not for you. Like be yourself and just embrace that. Because again, I think if we also just normalize that we've all got our quirks and that we're all weird in some degree, that I think this world could be a much better place, So be weird, be you, because it's more fun that way.
Oh, totally. I'll have to see if I can like edit in some snaps, like I'll have to do some weird background noise stuff. Snaps, girl. Yes, girl.
Yes.
I also don't say yes, girl that much. I don't know why I'm doing it. Weird. All right. So Audra, thank you so much for being the first episode guest. Yay. Oh my goodness.
And thank you for having me. This has been so much fun. I love to yap. So this was a perfect opportunity.
Maybe you'll be the second guest too.
People will be like, you need to bring her back because we need to hear more about
we want to hear more. All right. So that wraps the first episode of But Are You Weird? And tune in next time where we meet maybe another weirdo. Maybe they're not a weirdo. Until then, stay weird and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.